Hi, I'm Mike, and this week we woke up to find winter upon us. Snow on the ground and freezing temperatures. As Mother Nature descends with her inconsistent and two-faced personality, it's time to get the ranch ready for winter. And that means getting vehicles and tractors put away, stock tank heaters installed, and for me, the ceremonial burning of my summer hat. In the end, Mother Nature is in charge, even on our Wyoming Life. It's 28 degrees this morning. 1 week ago today, it was 77 degrees out here. And it's not only me that notices the huge change. The cows have come back to the ranch on their own from the open pastures that they've been grazing since we sold calves. They know that with cold temperatures comes feeding season. Feeding the cows hay helps produce internal body heat for them, and I'm sure they can use it. We've also had a couple inches of snow fall out here. Some of it melted off when the daytime temperatures got up into the 40s, but at night we're still dipping down into the teens. And soon, even those 40-degree temperatures during the day will be few and far between. Winter happens fast around here. Nothing we can't deal with by putting in a little bit of hard work, and hard work produces my internal body heat. So let's get warmed up by first warming up the cows and getting them a couple bales of hay. Actually kind of ironic to me that the very first job that I did here on the ranch when we came here 9 years ago was feeding the cows. It's also ironic that 9 months ago the very first video we put out as our Wyoming Life was feeding the cows. It's amazing how things seem to start in the same place in your life over and over again. We usually start feeding cows in November. And once snow hits the ground, they know it's time. As we head into the hay yard, you can see that our winter supply of hay has been restocked. In a normal, good year, we'd make all our own hay right here on the ranch, usually in July. But because of the lack of rain, our hay didn't grow as much as we would have normally had, and we had to buy hay from outside sources to get us through the winter. A single cow will eat anywhere from 25 to 35 pounds of hay a day. And because of that, we had to buy over 400 tons of hay this year, trucked in and unloaded and stacked in our hay yard. Today, we will be feeding 2 bales of hay, each weighing about 1,400 pounds apiece, and rolling it out for the cows. After picking up 1 bale with the front spear on the tractor, we can back up to another bale and grab it with the spooler and pick it up as well. Then it's out to the cows. Who are waiting anxiously for breakfast. We cut off the net wrap, which holds the bale together, and then unroll the bale. Then we repeat the process for the other bale. This isn't a full ration for the cows, but there is still some grass out there for them to eat, and after they finish this, they'll go out and chase grass. In the meantime, we head back to the shop to get started on our next project. That project is putting away all the equipment for the winter. We have one area to store most of it, and that's here in the sales barn. It's called the sales barn because it actually used to be a sales barn, filled with bleachers and a sales ring, along with an auctioneer's booth. Now it's mainly just storage, although it does double as the area the hunters use during hunting season. With hunting season ending on Halloween, we can now clean it up and get it ready for winter storage. In this 35 by 50 foot area, we will be stashing the baler, the John Deere 6410, the John Deere 4055, 2 four-wheelers, the small gator, and the Bobcat.
plus anything else we can squeeze in. First things first, we need to clean it up, and that starts with putting away garbage cans, chairs, and tables, along with picking up and throwing away trash in the incinerator for burning, grabbing the bobcat and the forks to move pallets of material and getting them put away. Also, moving pallets of feed for the steers. Once the barn is cleaned out, then it's time to start cluttering it up again, but this time with big toys. The first to come in is the 4055 tractor. We take off the plow and carefully back it into its winter parking spot. Next up is the baler, which will be backed in right in front of the 4055. We use the 6410 tractor to hook up to the baler and put it in its spot. Here in about 5 seconds is going to be a good example of what can go wrong when you're thinking too far ahead of yourself. Notice this jack stand holding up the front of the baler? On a normal day, or maybe just one where I'm thinking, I would have taken that off before pulling the baler with the tractor. Unfortunately, my mind is on step 4 instead of step 2, and I managed to drag the baler and the jack through the dirt and rock until my brain clicks in about 200 feet later, leaving a nice big gash. On the bright side, I may have learned a new way to dig a drainage ditch. The jack is bent and pretty hashed, but amazingly, it still works. I'm going to need a new jack stand for the baler, that's a given, but I may be able to make this one work until I get a new one. Backing the baler into the barn is a little tricky itself, and making sure you lower your loader before taking out the entire barn with it is a good catch. With the baler in place, we can chalk up the wheels so they don't roll due to our bent jack stand and pull the tractor away. Then it's time to fix my trench with the landscape rake. Erin is so gonna notice that. I'm guessing I'll have some explaining to do. But back to the task at hand. Four-wheelers come in next. After them, the lawnmower. Then, the lawn tractor. Things are already starting to get a bit cramped in here, but there's still more to bring in. The little gator is next. Then the bobcat is maneuvered into place. The only thing left is to park the 6410 tractor, and we're done. It's cramped and it's cluttered, and if I need a four-wheeler, I have to move the tractor, and if I need the bobcat, I have to move the tractor. But it's all indoors and protected from the harsh Wyoming winter, and that's all that matters.
Alright guys, so we have everything jammed into the sales barn that we can get in there. We still have to put away the Model T and the fire truck, but that takes some massive shuffling around and stuff, so we're not going to mess with that today. But I do have one more project that I'd like to get done. If you've ever seen me cake the cows, you've seen me cake the cows by hand, grabbing a sack of cake, opening it up, walking out, and laying it out for the cows. It's a little dangerous, but sometimes it's the only way that we can do things. The gator actually has a cake feeder that we can put on it, but we haven't had it on there up until now because Erin uses the gator all the time for her gardens, and it's kind of the workhorse of the ranch, so it's all over the place, and having a giant cake feeder in the back pretty much limits what we can use it for. Now that it's winter time, I can put the cake feeder back in and not get trampled by cows.
The cake feeder holds 600 pounds of cake and uses an electric motor and worm drive to push the cake out of the chute on the side and to the cows. I've already cleaned out the back of the gator and removed our gas can and mount as it would be in the way, and using the bobcat we can lift the cake feeder and its pallet directly into the back of the gator. Once it's in place, the electrical connections are made, and it's as easy as pushing one button on the remote control to fire it up and get it spinning. Before filling it and testing it, we'll strap it to the back of the gator and then feed the remote and its wire into the cab through the back window. Filling the cake feeder is pretty easy. Bring in a 50-pound sack of cake, and it fills from the top. Today, we're going to be putting 200 pounds in for the cows, and a couple more trips, and it's ready to test. After a successful test, we close the top door and head out to the cows. The cows aren't dumb, I'll give them that. They see us coming and they know, and they swarm. Inside the safety of the gator though, no worries. We just push through until we get a chance to make a break for it and lay out the cake, making a bunch of cows very, very happy.
Well, that's the end of another day on the ranch. It's almost supper time. And we got quite a bit done today. We got all the vehicles put away in the sales barn. Got the cake feeder on the gator. Still got to get the Model T put away, the fire truck put away, and a few odds and ends, but not a bad start as winter seems to be moving in and there's nothing we can do about it. Speaking of which, a tradition that I've had here on the ranch for a while, Erin thinks it's kind of silly, but at the end of every fall, I switch hats back to my black winter hat. But this hat has been pretty good to me. It's made it through the spring, part of the spring, through the summer, through the fall. And the tradition that I have is when I get rid of it, I burn it. Not exactly sure why, other than it's just fun to burn things. So we toss her out and we get ready to do it. A few years ago, a hunter brought out moonshine. I have no idea where they got it or how they made it, but it is flammable. So we'll use that this year. Give the hat a nice little dosing of that. It's the end of another season here on the ranch and the beginning of another. Back to my black hat. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Click that little bell button. Make sure that you don't miss any notifications when we put out a new video. And stick around. We've got some cool stuff coming up. Erin's getting started on her winter gardening adventure. We're going to be preg checking here before too long and culling cows, which basically means getting rid of the cows that we don't need. And we're going to show you how we do it and why. So stick around. As always, have a great week, and thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life.